This volume is yours. Some find you in silence, some find you in peace, but I found you loud on my knees. When the bass dropped and the lights went black, your voice.
And why not? We're good. All right, let's. Well, here, it'll give us, I don't know. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hit buttons. No, I think we can do something like that. I think that's a bugger.
They said turn it down, he doesn't hear that loud, but I've seen sheets break when the guitar shout. My soul don't whisper when it's on fire. I raise my voice like a heavenly choir. This is noise. It's a war song of saints and sinners who don't belong. But grace found us where the thunder rolls. So now we worship with a sound that's bold. Let the juice beat like a raging storm. Let the strings scream truth we were made for. Let the end shake the gates of shame. Every note still lifts your name. You made the roar, you lit the spark. You're the king of light who brings the dark. This fire, this force, this metal chords. We give it back. This volume is yours. Some find you in silence, some find you in peace, but I found you loud on my knees. When the bass dropped and the lights went black, your voice points through and blew me back. This isn't rage, it's a holy cry of a heart that refused to die. So don't tell me he don't dwell in sound. He shook the earth just to call me out. Let the drums beat like a raging storm. Let the strings scream truth we were made for. Let the end shake the gates of shame. Every note still lifts your name. You made the roar, you lit the spark. You're the king of light who brings the dark. This fire, this force, this metal chords. We give it back. This volume is yours. To the misfits, the headbangers, the broken and burned, you were made to praise. It's now your turn. He ain't afraid of distortion and steel. He bled loud, so let the heavens feel. Let thunder rise, let the voices soar, let the pits turn to praise on heaven's floor. No more shame, no more closed doors. Our worship shakes the heavens and roars. You made the roar, you lit the spark. You're the king of light who brings the dark. This fire, this metal chords. We give it back. This volume is yours.
I was about to say, my friend.
Very bad editing.
How am I going to signal you? Yeah. Great. It works, but I was like, am I?
Oh no, I can actually hear you. I like, for instance, that video has its own audio channel.
Oh, okay.
On the camera, so I can hear you. We can talk, but they can't hear us talk while it's playing.
Okay, because I hate to disrupt it. I like that song.
Yeah,
Swamp Ginger come to us, nez.h.n.a.
Anyways, before we get too much into this, I
C.O.MJ02D2.
do want to apologize to everybody because last week it was my fault. I got distracted and thought, oh yeah, and I should have been on. And if nothing else, to talk more about that quick video I did. But anyways, enough said there on my part. How you doing, Swampy?
I'm doing good. Doing some vehicle shopping, but other than that, we doing good.
Hey, that's always a plus. I hope. Anyways, there's vehicle shopping, and then there's vehicle shopping. And of course, when we last left it, we covered the Tower of Babel. We're gonna go ahead today. We're gonna kind of go over Abram, some of the Old Testament. Again, I'm still kicking around whether we're gonna do all of the Old Testament, or when we finish Genesis, we're going to go to something like the Book of Enoch. So leave a comment down below. Let us know what your vote is.
Or you can leave it in the live chat. Both of our live chats are active. I have them both pulled up in my notebook on the side. I can record notes.
Yeah, there's that too. Let us know what your vote is. Join the Discord, vote in the Discord, whatever.
Yeah, I was actually going to talk to you about that. There's a lot we can do with the Discord community, if that's something you want to expand upon. There's a lot we can do there.
I'm thinking about it. I mean, a little extra something on top of everything that's been going on. So,
sounds good.
For those of you who are joining us, I'm who are new. We're both simultaneously live streaming this, so if you could stop by on both, say hi, leave a comment. That'd be great, man. Be great.
It would be.
I am mainly at the moment focusing on the Book of Jubilees and how it's a little bit different than King James, and culture and a little bit of history here and there.
Yeah.
We're still like really, really early history. Arguments over the dating at this point. So
yeah. But that's the beautiful thing about discussion. We can have discussion about things. Nobody, we don't have to get mad about anything. We can discuss things, look at things, because I have it in my video description. The Apocryphals are good to understand the culture of the Second Temple when more of the world was starting to accept the Bible. Wow, I am echoing. Oh, that's not me. Okay.
well, no, yeah, I don't think you're echoing on mine. But...
No, it's okay. No, it was my end. But
oh, okay.
Like as we go through things, like yeah, we know what's canon in 66 books, and the culturally illuminating part and understanding on how people understood and looked at things, the cultural part. These are, both topics I believe everybody needs to understand, even if, the Apocryphals aren't in canon. It's good to see what the cultural mindset of the time was.
And I do hope that, my intent, of course, for doing this to begin with was to bring myself closer to the understanding of God, like any human can truly do that. But,
well, I mean,
it's worth an effort.
Well, I mean, that's like the whole point, like Old Testament, New Testament, they tell you to keep learning, grow closer. All, we are to fear God, for he is all powerful, but just as he knows us, he wants us to know him too. And if you don't seek knowledge, if you don't seek understanding, you're not going to get that.
And yeah, you're right. That is one of the things that the Bible does encourage us to continue to seek knowledge. This is also why we were given free will and still have a predestiny set for us at the same time.
Yeah, we had a lot of,
Unless you really want to get into philosophical discussion, I think we'll postpone that for a later date. But...
We can postpone that for later, but note that I will.
I'll be happy to have that discussion too, again, because I'm kind of right there where we have a predestiny, but we have free will to decide. Anyways.
Well, it's always interesting because we're talking about a being that exists both at the beginning and the end and is with you now. It's an interesting debate, always.
Always. And then you bring in the Holy Spirit, and there you go.
Oh.
So again, we're not really here to offend anybody, unless of course you're Muslim. Sorry, too bad. We're going to offend you.
Yeah, by nature, we're just going to offend you. I would say I'm sorry, but I'm just I am genuinely not. If something we say is thought-provoking enough that it makes you uncomfortable, maybe you need to sit with it for a while. And we're going to be hitting a lot of uncomfortable parts in the Bible that we all might need to sit with for a while. That's not a knock on any one person.
Well, I mean, again, we're not innocent, born guilty, but we're gonna start coming into the Arabs and etc. and Arabs and Persians being different cultures.
Yep.
And
I don't know.
Wonder what's going on in the world right now.
Right.
Anyways,
we just
exactly,
we just DoorDash the Palestinian leader. Dude, I will
pretty much.
I will point out is, you know, everyone's like, oh, war is bad. Okay, God and the Bible tell you to defend yourself. Do not murder, but, you know, taking out someone who's trying to kill you is not murder, even in the eyes of God. So if somebody who, like, really hates you and wants to, you know, bury you in sand and then have the community stone you for believing in him, yeah, he's not going to be mad about that. I'm sorry, but it's in...
No, self-defense.
I just held up my Bible
reasonable.
like they can see my Bible.
There you go.
I don't know.
The problem with
maybe...
wanting to keep some anonymity.
Well, that's what I was about to say. Maybe I might start taking this avatar down for these and just have, you know, me there, and y'all get to see my beautiful bald gingerness.
It's a thought. I mean, if you do it, I might consider it. We'll see. And there's a reason I'm a raven.
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what. That's something me and you can discuss on a little bit later. Because that is a legitimate topic for us to discuss later.
Yeah, I know. And there are reasons for it as well.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, if we're believers, why would we hide our faces?
Well, honestly, it's just because I had the gaming avatar ready to go. I don't really have another
I know,
answer.
same here, really. I don't have my... I mean, I can throw up my green screen and throw a shirt on.
Well, I mean,
but,
I could throw... Okay, look, so here's the fact of the matter now. And, you know, I'll show it. Swampy's gonna have some fortitude here real quick. He's gonna put his money where his mouth is.
Yeah, and just to prove we're just a couple of guys hanging out talking about the Bible.
Let's see. Video capture device.
So feel free to join us in chat. You know, this is why we do it live.
This is me.
If we didn't do it live, there you go.
Hey everybody, this is me. This is what I look like, and that is why I need a green screen.
Well, I'm not that daring at the moment. I mean,
ladies and gentlemen, this is a side note of Jesus' approval. This is mead.
My wife would murder me for showing a cluttered house.
I'm doing a lot of remodeling in here right now. That's why it looks like that. But
and then I have to defend myself before Jesus of going, why'd you let her do that? Why did you piss her off enough to do that to you?
All right, so I'm just gonna
exactly. You know, I mean, you know.
Yeah.
If you ain't got nothing good, you're in trouble.
Right there we go.
So, and of course, I'm referring back to the belief in the heavenly tablets, which is mentioned here and there.
Yeah.
You know, here and there, and you know, again, it records everything. Yeah, you know, death by wife is not something I look forward to.
No.
No. He especially my wife. She's beautiful. And anyways.
Well, that's what I was about to say. See, you have death by wife, and then you have death by a wife who is a lady, and one of those is far more terrifying than the other.
Yeah.
One of them you have a chance, and the other one, there's a good chance that God's going to be like, well, what did you expect?
Oh. Anyways, yeah, exactly. So, but again, yeah, it's been interesting. Some of the stuff that's been going through I've been looking at poor Abram here.
Yep.
And I say poor Abram because you know, it's sort of a meme when you think about it.
Mm-hmm.
The Jews didn't ask. They were chosen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's almost as scary, you know. Nobody was volunteering, so Jesus chose them.
Yep.
There you go.
Well, honestly, though, I mean, when you think from, you know, I'm going to say hindsight of history. I know that sentence sounds weird, but when you break it down, I mean, should have God chosen anybody else? Because the people who really needed, okay, so in the time Jesus was walking among us, you know, you had the Romans as the major power. Now,
Yeah.
most people will be like, "Oh, Romans conquered." Da 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 da. Romans did a very particular thing that avoided rebellion for a long time, and the Jews did not. And
Romans also were the reason that Christianity spread so big.
yes,
And if they started out as the chosen, I doubt, because this gets into some interesting discussion. I'm sorry, I don't want to steal it too much, but
go.
because it gets into the interesting discussion is you have the oh crap, I did it again.
Did you lose your train?
Yep.
Okay.
There are bodies everywhere.
That's okay. All right,
Sorry.
you try to catch that train, and I'll talk about Rome for a moment.
I'm sure I will when you're talking about oh no, because we are responsible for the spread of Christianity, being Gentile, being Gentiles. That even when you read the Bible, it's God's a little bit more forgiving of us than He is the Jews.
Well, the Jews had the benefit
If you actually
of I
look
am
at
with you.
Well, I mean, it's not that it's just when it comes down to it, we're a little bit. He's a little bit more forgiving towards us, a little bit more merciful towards us than He is the Jews. It's like, now that I've chosen you, I expect you to live by these codes.
Well, yeah.
You know,
that's what I was saying. Like, God was like, "Hey, I reveal myself to you. I didn't reveal myself to them off the bat. I did that with y'all first." Like,
Yeah.
But one of the reasons I believe God's plan was to have the Jews chosen to begin with is that Rome was one of the big kickers after Jesus' death that spread Christianity, besides the apostles and including Paul. Paul was Roman.
Again, Paul was Rome, but I mean, again, there are other factors. I'm generalizing in a very large degree.
Yeah, same here.
I tend to do that. You know me.
Yeah. Well, I mean, sometimes you have to, especially with these broad discussions that we tend to have.
Yeah. I mean, if we're gonna get down to it, there was more to it. Again, look at the Maccabees. The Maccabees are the record. The Jews have recorded every fight they've been in.
Yep. But
throughout history,
one of the reasons,
a wonderful habit of that.
Oh yeah, but one of the reasons I think God chose God chose that Sky Daddy, whatever name you want to use, chose the Jews at the time is that they were directly under the Romans at the time. And one of the things that the Romans did on why I think that Jesus chose that time with the Jews and the Romans is Rome had an interesting conquering philosophy. They didn't erase your faith. They sent scholars in, tried to understand it, and integrate it. That's actually what led them to spread Christianity in the first place.
Pretty much. Well, that and the big old cross in the sky,
Yeah,
but that's another story.
Yeah, that's another story. Had a
Yeah,
big part
some
to do
dude
with
named
it.
Charlemagne. I mean,
Had a lot to do with it, but I believe
Yeah,
that's
he
why
kinda
he
did,
chose it
yeah,
at the time.
but- exactly, and then there's that rock band, which Christopher Lee did. Had to bring it up just because Charlemagne,
Yeah.
Charlemagne's a badass.
Yep.
Christopher Lee, I mean, they just don't make him like him anymore.
No, they don't. But on
You know,
topic now.
I mean, sorry, yeah.
If you leave us alone, you see how this goes.
Yeah, exactly. We go way off base. Sometimes this is welcome to if you want, join our Discord. You can catch us there.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And this is how our general discussions go, even when we're playing video games. But
This is 100% true. There is no lie here.
oh yeah, one of the interesting things I had noticed about the Ethiopian Bible though is there's like 4 chapters fitted in.
Yeah.
Where the King James, again, after this is the canonized version, they kind of went through and just here's the descendants and have a nice day.
Right.
Whereas in the meantime you get 4 chapters in the Ethiopian Bible, but the Greek kind of did the same. The Greek translations kind of do the same thing, just kind of like whatever. I think, however, that again there's an interesting story. This is why I wanted to look at the Apocryphals. These interesting stories to help me understand God himself better.
Yeah.
And one of the stories pertains to in the chapter was when Abram was a boy, they were going through a famine, and he had the ability to come out and shoo the birds away, the ravens, because they were picking out the seeds as soon as the people put them in. Because let's go back, they were kind of cursed way back when.
Yeah.
And he'd go out, and he was kind of known for that. And as he was growing up, during this time, also as a child, he saw that, and I quote from it would be where'd it go? I just had it.
I believe in you. You got this.
I know. It is like I said, it's 4 new chapters after the Babylon, the patriarchy, the history. They really get into Noah Noah commanding not to eat blood, because you had that, and what is was it the Moabites that were doing that?
Yes.
Blood sacrifices.
I believe it was.
Well,
the
they were doing more
Moabites.
than just blood sacrifice. Yeah, the Moabites, they were actually the blood drinkers. So,
Yeah.
let's see. So we have a whole chapter kind of dealing with Noah giving out his commandments. So again, these are commandments of my man, but they kind of reflect to some degree the Big Ten.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like so many. He's got so many laws. It's not funny.
That is what they were good for. A lot of
There it is. Abraham's knowledge of God's wonderful deeds. This would be in the Ethiopian Bible. It would be chapter 11, verses 16 to 24. I am only going to read, I think it's like chapter 16. Or verse 16.
Verse 16, chapter 12.
Yeah.
I'll pull it up on screen so everybody can see. Here we go.
And the child began to understand the errors of the earth, that all went astray after graven images and after uncleanliness. And his father taught him writing, and he was 2 years, taught him writing. He was, 2 weeks of years, which would be like, 14 years old, I think it is.
Yeah.
And he separated himself from his father, that he might not worship idols with him. He began to pray to the Creator of all things, that he might save him from the errors of the children of man, and that his portion should not fall into error after uncleanliness and vileness. Sorry, I went into 17 as well, but
Yeah.
I found that interesting, that again, apocryphal, but it's recorded at one time, possibly cut, who knows, added later, who knows, but that one had kind of struck me, and that even as an early age, this is part of why God had chosen Abram from among the heathens. And from there again, that whole chapter talks about the ravens coming and taking the seeds, so that they had to work harder, causing a bit of famine.
Which
and he actually, I was going to say, he went out and actually chased them away so they could actually get food in abundance from that point forward.
Yeah, and keep in mind when they say when they're talking about, making, farming harder, keep in mind that Adam already synthesized that to one layer of that when, they messed up in the Garden of Eden, where God told them, yeah, you will now have to actually work the soil. It's no longer just,
Yeah, and when you really screw up, you're not only working the soil, but you've got the birds working, against you. The whole makes me think of the parable of God, Jesus's word and the seeds and the different types of terrain, and where the seed will grow and not grow.
Yeah.
But here, obviously, so he was already worshiping the Creator as a boy. And then there's an entire section, chapter actually, of where before he leaves, God had told him to leave, and before he leaves, he's actually trying to convince his father to leave.
Mm-hmm.
It would be uh, around Genesis 11, 27, 30. This would be, what is it? Chapters 10 or chapter 12. And I was thinking of reading 2 through 5. This is why I didn't do a sermon. Switching between being able to get it picked up by my mic and picked up as I read into a book. Not helpful with a directional mic.
This is true.
And he said, "Behold, here I am, my son," because he called out to his father. And he, being Abram, said, "What help and profit have we from those idols which thou dost worship, and before which thou dost bow thyself? For there is no spirit in them, for they are dumb forms and a misleading and a misleading of the heart. Worship them not, worship the God of heaven, who causes the rain and the dew to descend on the earth, and does everything upon the earth, and his created and has created everything by his word, and all life is from before his face. Why do you worship things that have no spirit in them? For there are no works of man's hands, for they are the works of man's hands, and on your shoulders do you bear them, and you have no help from them, but they are a great cause of shame to those who make them, and a misleading of the heart of those who worship them. Worship them not." Now, I found it interesting when he's speaking about the hands that work them, because remember, that comes in later with Moses and his brother, who made the images when the Jews decided to do their thing. Once again, proving the Jews are not perfect. Oh.
Nobody is. Nobody is.
So I found that interesting, especially with today's thing. Yeah, we don't make so many graven images, but they're out there still. Look at the stars of Hollywood. They think they are idols to be worshipped. I mean, we have kind of gotten a little astray and misguided ourselves these days.
Oh yeah.
Oops. But I'm not here to lecture. I found that very interesting that this is here. It shows up in other places similar and akin. Even the wording does. I know this is the King James, closer to the King James version of things. But again, to me, it was reflected. I remember, again, Moses' brother, etc. Words of such being said again, repeated over. And then from that chapter, it pretty much joins the Bible when he's traveling through Egypt. And, they pretty much correlate. All three of them pretty much read the same. I mean, other than a few words here and there, or a name replaced, as we've discussed previously. Again, if you're reading the Greek interpretations, and here's where things really get fun. Although the Ethiopian does go a little bit more into, and I'm getting ahead of myself here, when Sarah casts out Hagar.
Yes, Hagar.
And Ishmael. And there's some extra in the Ethiopian Bible versus the other two that I'd noticed as well, going on about it. But in the end, they all kind of agree that, although, again, the Ethiopian directly says that the descendants of Ishmael are the Arabs.
Yeah.
Evil, we know thy name. Anyways. I'm just saying. Oh, wait till we get into the wisdom of Solomon.
That's gonna be
Evil,
fun.
we know thy name. Um, yeah, or yeah, I believe it's it's the wisdom of Solomon
Yep.
that has them. So again, there will be some deviation where we're obviously covering books that are not covered in the King James, but where possible, we'll refer to that as well, to the canon version, because well, it's canon at the moment. Haha.
That's right.
Word of God. You can get a whole discussion about the definition of the word of God there too.
Yep.
So I mean, that was what I some of the things that kind of popped out with me with those 4 chapters that weren't included in the canon version of Abram. Now we're all familiar with Abram. I'm assuming.
Abram is interesting.
He's the dude that started it all.
Dun, dun,
Technically, I mean,
dun.
yeah, I know. We had Noah, and technically we have Adam, but everybody got wiped out, so you have Noah.
No.
And then from Noah, you have all the races, and you have all of men. So again, we're all brothers.
What, sweetie? All right.
Let's see. What else do I have in my notes?
E. For the record, I know he wanted to do a lot of covering of the Apocrypha on the Apocrypha chapters. That's why I'm waiting. Just so everybody knows.
Yeah, no, that's fine. It ends up. What is it? After those 4 chapters, Genesis 14 in the New King James, Greeks, Genesis 12, match up with Jubilees, the Book of Jubilees again.
Yeah.
Till about and then the Book of Jubilees till it's about chapter 12. So from 9 to 12 of the Book of Jubilees, and then it again kind of just through the way it goes, it matches up again later on. Mastema, oh yeah, he comes up with Abram. He recommends that Abram should be tested, and that's still a way ahead.
Yep.
Uh,
But starting with chapter 12, we have the call of Abram, where God tells Abram, leave your native country.
yes, that was just after he tried to convince his dad, and his father basically said, "I can't go. They're gonna kill me."
Yep.
Kind of like another religion that I know of today,
Mm-hmm.
where if you leave, they want to kill you. Death cults everywhere. Let's see. He went to Egypt.
Yep.
That's where he told his wife that she needed to tell everybody that she was actually his sister, so that they wouldn't kill him, so that they could have her.
Yes.
Wow, that's a violent world,
Yeah.
And here they don't get in. Well, go ahead.
Well, I was about to say, Egypt was very odd about that. If you were not from Egypt, and another man saw someone who was, that they would desire, if it was another man's wife, you could literally hold them in combat and take their wife.
Yep.
Right? It was kind of like marriage by combat. It was really weird.
It was very odd. And that way, if he was his sister, they didn't have to, and the Pharaoh took a liking to her.
Mm-hmm.
I find it interesting, though, they didn't really get into the plagues, because it's all 3 of them again are still saying that the Pharaoh's house became plagued.
Mm-hmm.
For this, and that's when the Pharaoh went to him and said, "Hey, dude, what the hell's going on? Why am I having bad luck?" Well, other than the fact that he's inbred because he's the Pharaoh.
Right. Yeah, that was the fact of pharaohs back then.
Yep. He's like, "Well, yeah, she's my wife," and that's when the Pharaoh was like, "You know what? Get your stuff and just get out of Egypt."
Mm-hmm.
He commanded his men to make sure that Abram got out of Egypt with all of his possessions, his wife, everything. Just get the hell out. At least that's the impression I got from the Ethiopian when I was reading it.
Yeah.
It's like he commanded his men. I'm like,
Right. And it's important to note because it's
get
hinted
the hell
at.
out of my country.
It's hinted at in the canon when God told Abram, "Hey, go to Egypt." God did expect this to happen. Later on, we know because he had his prophet Moses coming out of Egypt, but he knew that was going to happen. Keep in mind that God waited until the Pharaoh was like, "Yo, I'm going to give you all of these gifts to take because they believed she was his sister."
Yeah, but dowry,
Right.
basically. It was a dowry.
And so,
That's another reason why he became very profitable.
yes, and
Because he left his country with nothing and then leaves Egypt rich.
like here, let's see. Hold on, what was it? For those of you who are unaware on what a dowry is, it is a gift to the family to claim the hand of a daughter, sister, sometimes cousins, to acquire them in marriage, depending on the family circumstance. And the higher up you were in society, the more you were expected to be able to afford as a gift. So to give an example of what we're talking about here, let's see, the time of the severe famine, kill him, take it. The Pharaoh gave Abram many gifts because of her: sheep, goats, cattle, male and female donkeys, which was very high up on the prize chain back then. They were they were one of the few reliable beasts of burden back then. And servants and camels. So I don't know what sorry would have looked like back then, but God hooked Abram up. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he got very rich from the gifts.
Right.
And then, of course, God visited the plagues on the Egyptian pharaoh, not for actually for the first time.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Wouldn't be the last time. There we go.
But keep in mind, God's like, look, I know that he doesn't tell Abram, but he knows it's going to happen because nobody doesn't plague him until after Abram is taken care of.
Yes, exactly.
And one of the safest places to be back then during a plague was either a religious temple, monastery, or a royal palace. Where was Sari brought to? The royal palace.
Yeah.
God knew this was going to happen and made sure they were prepared.
Yeah, they were taken care of.
So let's see. And sure enough, when Abram arrived in Egypt, everyone noticed Sari's beauty. And again, he got the gifts, but the Lord sent terrible plagues upon the Pharaoh and his household because of Sari, Abram's wife. Pharaoh summoned Abram, accused him sharply of what he had done. Why didn't you tell me this was your wife? Why did you say she is my sister and allow me to take her as your wife? Now then, here is your wife. Take her and get out of here. The Pharaoh ordered some of his men to escort them, and he sent Abram out of the country.
Yeah.
Funnily, what they
Get the hell out.
Funnily, what they didn't do was take everything back.
Yeah, I noticed that as well.
And
at least the Pharaoh at this time was a man of honor, I guess you could say.
Well,
I gave you the gifts. Get the hell out.
Well, it's a
Just
twofold.
leave my time.
It was a twofold, very interesting thing with the relationship of Egypt in here. One, yes, especially by a royal, you could not take back a gift that was given, even under a confusing pretense such as this is frowned upon. But more importantly, the Egyptians knew of their God. They're not dumb. Egypt was not really polytheistic, but they understood other faiths that were around them. So when that happened, note that Pharaoh didn't ask. He said, "Why didn't you tell me that this was your wife, dude? Like, what?" You know, he didn't be like,
Yeah.
hey, is this actually your wife? Did you lie to me? He didn't want that. He didn't want that noise. So he was aware.
Well, I don't think the plagues helped any either.
Right, and that's what I was getting at, because one of the things that, you know, was known at the time is that these people don't reign by a king because they have prophets because of their God. Remember, Egyptians, much like the Romans, didn't put down other faiths. They just acknowledged that they existed. So when he got played, he was like, oh, no, we're not dealing with this.
Yeah.
And it was hilarious.
Get out. Go away.
And it was hilarious because you're going to see a repeat of very nearly the same things in Moses. This was basically the preamble to, yo, we're about to mess up Egypt.
Yeah. Sorry. Sorry. Not sorry.
I mean, in all honesty, like, they kept good records back then. You think when Moses came around, they would have been like, yo, wait, hold on. We've seen this before. Hold up. But they didn't.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, so leaving, you know, they traveled north, and along with Lot, and you know, Abram was very rich with livestock, silver, gold. Again, they were like, hey, yeah, I want to marry her. Here's all this stuff. They didn't take it from him. The Pharaoh knew better.
No, and yeah, I forgot to mention that they were with Lot as well for that.
Yes,
Because Lot plays an important role in history.
that he does. And keep in mind, I want to point something else out here. Despite that, Abram was basically the prelude to, you know, how Egypt is and why everything happens in Exodus. Remember that Abram's also the one that tried to stop the conflict between the sons, the relatives, not even between house soldiers, but even the herdsmen, the shepherds. Yeah, Abram's the one who tried to stop all of that, and you can see that in chapter 13, verse 8. You know, and Lot. If I remember right, hold on, it's right here. Lot took Jordan, right? Lot took a long look at the fertile plains
Lot
of Jordan
took
and went
direction
of Zor.
Which would be towards the
Let's see, the Garden of the Lord
East.
or the beautiful land of Egypt. This was before the Lord destroyed Sodom and Gomorrah. All right, so Lot chose for himself the Jordan Valley. Okay, yeah, I was right. Yeah,
which is where at the very, I think it's the very top of the Jordan Valley.
It was, yes.
Is where Sodom and Gomorrah's ruins are.
Yes.
So,
you know, keep in mind that Abram's the one who tried to stop the conflict between the sons and relatives. You know, despite him being, like I said earlier, you know, the prequel to what happens in Exodus. I just thought it's an interesting thing to point out, because despite Egypt's record keeping, apparently, much like us, they still didn't learn lessons of history.
No, that seems to be a repeating thing. Somebody doesn't learn from history. Again, this is the reason why we're, you know, going over the Old Testament.
Yep. Also, it is worth pointing out that Abram also left. He went towards Hebron. It was an oak grove in what was that place called? Hold on, I have it right here. Mamre.
I know.
Mamre.
Yeah.
And we actually do know that he went there, because the Bible talks about how he built an altar to the Lord, and archaeologically speaking, we have found that altar. Like, we know where it's at. Granted, we'd have to look it up, but we do know where it is.
Yeah, I know. I'd have it too. I was too busy going along. Let's see. Which thou was rescued, but let the boot. Oh, yeah, that's right. And then when Lot was there in the fields, that's when the war happened.
Yep.
Abram with Lot and Canaan and Egypt. Abram separates from Lot. Again, this is where he's like, you go your way, we'll go ours. This whole land is mine anyways. Because nobody was inhabiting it really either, so when he moved in,
Yeah.
it's like, nope, boom. Which is, it gets the interesting, so who was the native inhabitants in the first place?
Well, there isn't.
Well, after the flood.
Right. Not much of anybody. So one thing
Yeah, exactly.
important before we talk about, Abram rescuing Lot and everything, it is important to notice that remember which way they went. The reason I say that is very important when we get to Exodus, because the covenant with Abram was, as far as you can see, this is the land I will give your descendants. Earlier, God told Abram, hey, it's not going to be yours now, but keep this covenant and I will make sure your descendants will have all of this.
Yep.
So keep in mind which way they went, because you're going to hear it again.
Well, and at the same time, it's interesting because a little bit later on, because of the battle we're about to discuss a little bit of, was it with the death of Sarah?
Yeah.
He actually purchased that land
He did.
from the king.
Yep.
And so that he could bury his people could be buried there. So, I mean, again, this is why several old books tend to refer to it as the land of Israel.
Yep. Now.
But yeah, he purchased it initially. So again, who's the native occupants of the land?
Right.
Yeah, obviously, I hate to tell y'all, it seems to be the descendants of Shem occupied Israel in the very first part to begin with. Thus, it's why everybody calls it the land of Israel.
Yeah. So, Abram. So despite Abram trying to prevent conflict from breaking out between everybody, about the time Abram moved camp to Hebron, it was a little bit after that, the war finally broke out in the region. King Amphil of Babylonia, the king of Eleazar, and I don't ask me to pronounce the dude's name, but the king of Elam. I think there was a couple more. Yeah, right here. Goyim, king of what was he? Where was he from? Oh yeah, Sodom, and King Bashir of
Sodom.
Gomorrah.
Yeah.
Yep.
And let's remember, I just want to point out at this time, since we've talked a little bit earlier about the Roman Empire, this isn't even the Roman Empire. They're still Greek islands.
Yep.
And still pretty much the Spartans.
Right.
And yeah, I think this would be around Spartan times, maybe a little bit pre-Spartan even.
Yeah, it would be before that. Yeah.
It'd be pre-Spartan, yeah. So again, who's the native owner? Oh, man, I'm just curious.
There's a lot to go on here.
Yeah.
Now, there was a second group at war. This was the area of the Salt Sea. To be specific, that is the area we call the Dead Sea now. It's the Valley of the Dead Sea. The Hebrews called it the Salt Sea. So, just to be clear on that.
Where was it? Yeah, there was that reference there, and I think it was the Ethiopian that actually still refers to it as the Salt Sea. The others calling it the
Dead Sea.
The Dead Sea. Oh.
Now,
I just noticed that.
I have a study New English Bible. So mine actually shows the annotation of the Hebrews calling it the Dead Sea. The Salt Sea, sorry. I just mixed up my own words.
No, that's fine. This is, that's fine. Like I said, I'm coming through 3 different books at the moment at the same time. I mean, Genesis is one of those that's like, yeah, it'll drive you a little bonkers.
Oh yeah. So during while we're going through it, a little bit of numbers time. For 12 years, they had been subjected to to King whatever his name was, the King of Elam. Don't ask me to pronounce that, please. Kedor Lamor.
Pronounce it. Which one? I think it was
It's Kador Laomer, something like that. I have never pronounced that.
yeah. I'll stick with. Oh, just call it Babel. I mean, wait, wrong place.
Right.
Um,
I'm just gonna call him King Lomer. That's because I'm not.
it's
I can't pronounce that whole thing.
yeah. I'm trying to look up. I mean, there's a bunch here.
Yeah. But, so for 12 years they were subjected there. It was the 13th year that they, the rebellion and the war started. For a year after that, his allies arrived, and they were fighting off the Raphites of Ashtur, the Zuites, the Hams, the Emites, the Warites. Yes, that is a word. I know what it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like wait.
Yep.
No. Where do not quite the same word, but it's because it's spelled a little differently. It's
is.
just pronounced in English that way.
Right. And
Yeah.
it's important to point out here that Mount Seir, they stopped right before the En Mishpat. We would call that territory Kadesh today. All of that got conquered by the Amalekites and the Amorites living in the Hazar Tamar region. This is the rebel king. These are, part of the rebel kings of Sodom, Gomorrah, Adama, Zomblum, and Bela, also called Zor. It's all of this happened near the Salt Sea.
I tried to pull up a map that would show it, but I mean, there's so much also changing, also geographically,
Mm-hmm.
as far as what land is called what land, that I couldn't settle down on an ancient one old enough that was fair
Right.
of what is described here.
Well, you got to realize, up until, what was it, about 8 years ago, we didn't even know where the Dead Sea was.
Yeah.
And the only reason we found it was they found caves in the riverside, which kind of makes you wonder where the water level was back then.
Well, again, in certain parts of America were flooded at one time.
Oh, yeah,
but,
America used to
days,
be
1,000 years.
The Northern Americas used to be two continents if you go back far enough.
With not quite marsh, but about like where England and France, and because that's only like 20 feet deep there.
Yeah.
That channel.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they were saying it was North America, was the water there was about maybe 20 feet deep. Maybe it points a little bit deeper, but I'm like, okay, well, that's interesting. Crocodiles and sharks, what a nightmare. I'm so glad I didn't live back then.
Right.
There are reasons Jesus chose 2,000 years ago. Probably if he came today, we'd really freak out.
Oh, yeah. No doubt.
He'd come down in his spaceship and we'd just all lose it.
I
I mean, wait, what?
think we call
sorry,
that
Enoch,
a heaven.
damn.
I think we call that a heavenly chariot. Anyway.
Well, there's some discussion there as well.
Now, does anybody, before we continue, remember how old Abram is?
At this time,
'Cause
he's 70, isn't he?
yes, this is very important here for a minute.
Yeah, he's about 70. I think he was 74 or something like that.
Something like that. Like he was mid 70s, close to his 80s.
When he's in the war, doing the wars,
Mm-hmm.
if I recall, that was he was about 70 there.
Because during all of this war
Because-
and rebellion, this is the reason I bring that up, just to kind of make us middle-aged older gentlemen feel really old. There was so much war and rebellion going on that there was tar in the Salt Sea. One of Lot's men was able to escape and get to Abram, who was no longer called Abram by these people. The man has earned a
it was
title.
Abraham.
Well, he's
Yeah.
not Abraham yet.
Well,
He was called
yeah,
Abram the
he's-
Hebrew.
yeah.
And this is important because he was fighting. A lot of people overlook this from historical context. The reason the people started calling him Abram the Hebrew. I said Abraham. Sorry.
Yeah,
Abraham
it's
or
Abrams. Yeah,
Abram
yeah.
the Hebrew was that this man, while he didn't go out and fight the front lines, any of these rebels or invaders that came near his orc grove, the man put down. You didn't
Yeah.
mess with the Hebrew
He
because
was-
that was his home.
Yep. And then, yeah, and then when they took Lot, that just really pissed him off, and he's like, "No, I'm not taking a thing from you because I don't want you saying you made me rich.
Right,
For God's the one who made me rich.
right. And
Although my subordinates, let them get theirs because whatever.
Right.
They earned it.
right. And
But
that
I don't want anything from you.
right, and that's why in chapter 14 we see him going from called Abram. I know I keep saying Abraham. It's Abram.
It's Abram, yeah.
They call him Abram the Hebrew because you didn't step in his territory without getting, dead. And
Unless you had a really good reason, yeah.
right, because
And then he greeted you like a friend.
yeah.
So yeah, you better be coming with a happy smile on your face for it.
So when one of Lot's men escaped and told Abram what was going on, the dude went into fight mode.
Yeah. And just to get his cousin, well, his brother, his son-in-law.
Right.
Just to get his son-in-law back.
And we see this in verse 14. When Abram heard that his nephew Lot had been captured, he mobilized the trained men who had been born into his household and pursued Lamor's army until he caught up with them at Dan.
Yeah.
And then he
like I said, I wish I had that map because Dan's a pretty decent distance.
Yeah, it's
You could barely see it. It's like the second river. If you go all the way up to the top of the Dead Sea, which is the second lake there, and there's a dark line, and you can see like the second river. That's kind of where Dan starts.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a distance he pursued them.
This man heard his nephew was captured, looked at all the trained men in his household at 75 years old and said, "Yo, we gonna hard march for 2 days and we gonna fix this." They hard marched for about 2.5 days, pursued the army, and then divided his men and attacked during the night. The army, keep in mind, a household may have been like a household refers to the servants and everything as well, not
Yeah,
just
as well. Yeah.
So you're talking about maybe 30 dudes tops. My references don't have a number for it, but estimating versus his value, we're talking 30 men tops chased down an army for 2 days. The man is 75 years old and decided to launch a night raid that scattered an army of 2,000.
Ah, the blessings of God.
And they
Sorry,
chased
just
him.
had to point that out.
Oh no, absolutely, because here's the other beautiful part. They chased them all the way to Damascus. They didn't get there, chase them off and said, "Okay, let's take a breather." No, they chased them another day's worth of hard march to Damascus.
Oh yeah.
Abram recovered all the goods that had been taken, brought back his nephew with Lot's possessions. He bothered to collect.
And most of it doesn't say, but I would assume at that point as well, almost all of the people, if not all of them.
No, it does say in my reference.
Oh, does it?
Yeah, right here.
Okay, my bad.
No, it's all good. I have a study Bible.
Yeah, mine didn't.
Mine doesn't read like I have a.
Yeah.
So right here in my annotations, because our verse says he brought back his nephew Lot with possessions and all the women and other captives. Well, here's where my asterisk note breaks down. Shown by record.
Oh dear.
Abram 100.
I lost the squirrel.
You lost a squirrel? What happened? Hold on.
Squirrel. Aw.
What happened?
Okay.
Rumble
Why don't we
Studio?
figure out what happened with the squirrel?
Oh wait, hold on. I might just have an error. Hold on 1 second.
Minor technical difficulties.
Technical difficult. It couldn't handle the zeal I was putting out.
But
there.
yeah, this is and I mean it's pretty impressive what he was doing. They don't get into a whole lot of details, but yeah, he was already rich enough to go, yeah, no, I ain't taking any of your stuff. And at the same time, this is when God, let's see, yeah, right after the campaign of Chedorlaomer.
Yes.
Oh, did I hear a squirrel?
Hold on, I'm
I
rebooting.
think I heard a squirrel.
You might have. I'm trying to reboot the page. I have a lot going on over here.
I thought I heard it. Give us a moment. I'm just filling the
Microphone
space at the moment
on.
for technical difficulties. And
Why is my camera not activating?
I don't know. And great.
Well, they can see you. That's the important part. As long as they can hear you too.
Okay. Well, I'm hoping. I mean, I have to check. I hate delays. They drive me nuts.
No, we were on a roll too.
Oh, I know, man. Let me go back to mine real quick. Too many buttons, man. Too many buttons. All right, now that I've been talking.
Yeah.
Can y'all hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you on my stream. Let me be clear. I'm moving to yours now.
Okay. Yeah, I don't think mine.
I can hear you. Yeah.
No, mine kind of.
I can hear you on my stream. Let me be clear. I'm
Can you
moving
hear
to
it?
yours.
Okay.
Yep, I got you.
Hello.
Your audio is going through on both channels. It's my.
Oh, okay.
It's my camera that's having an issue somewhere.
All right, it probably just got too hot or something like that.
It's not. It's not allowing me to enable camera. Oh, you're on solo. Swap her to presentation.
Oh, that could do it, huh?
Yeah.
Technical difficulties, amateur professionals, professional amateurs. Hold on, silly program.
While he works on that end. So yeah, in my annotations here, it does say it is believed that Abram, not only took all of the recovered all of the women who were captured, his nephew, his possessions, and all of his men, and all of those that served beside Lot. This man went down with a 30-person force, chased them to Damascus, and then was like, all right, we're here to save you guys. Get all of your stuff. Oh, we took their goods too, by the way. And y'all are
That's
coming
weird.
back.
It won't let me put you as the presenter.
It's not letting me enable my camera.
Let's see.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. Hold up. It's trying to turn on now. Give it a second.
Huh.
All right, I have an idea.